Hi everyone. Today we're going to do a side dish, Mike's Tater Tot Casserole. My rendition anyway. I had the slow cooker out for a roast and I needed a side dish. So here it is. So the first thing we need is a baking pan. Pull it out. And of course along with that we need some parchment paper just to make cleanup a little easier. Since I started using parchment paper, my baking sheets are night and day as far as cleanup goes. Not all the time. Sometimes things just spill. Now this isn't a pure tater tot because I had some of these Hashbrowns left over and I really wanted to use them up. I wasn't really sure how long they'd been in the freezer. Long enough where I knew I had to use them soon. So I spread them out nice and even. Then along with that comes the tater tots to fill up the rest of the sheet. And that ought to be enough for our casserole, I'm thinking. Into the oven they go, 400, about 20 minutes, not long enough to completely cook them, but enough to get them halfway cooked. Go into a frying pan, warmed up, medium heat, a little bit of oil, and I didn't dice them up. They were already nicely diced in the fridge. So there's a cup of onions. We're going to saute that down, get them nice and cooked up. They don't need to be super brown, but I mean, once you get them nice and translucent, that's usually good enough. You want to go farther than that, go for it. So they look something like that when they're done. And we're going to put them aside. Now I've cleaned the frying pan, so next up comes the meat. A pack of nice lean ground beef. It's only a pound I've taken out. I could have done more if you're really a ground beef fan. Put a pound and a half or 2 pounds in. And of course once that's all browned up, nice and yummy looking, you can throw some salt and pepper in if you want. And we're going to put this aside. So now we get to assemble everything. Pretty straightforward. We've got our rectangle pan, and here's the potatoes as they've come out of the oven. I let them cool because they're going back in. But you can see they got a little bit of a toast on them. So the hamburger goes in first. That's your bottom layer. And you want to spread that around nice and as even as you can. And you'll see here that that's 1 pound, so 2 pounds would have given you a really good base. It still worked out, it still tasted great. If you want more, do more. Now our onions we cooked up in the frying pan, those go on next, nice and sprinkled around, as neat as can be. And of course at this point I added the salt and pepper. I didn't do it in the frying pan. Well, let's just add it now while we're thinking of it. And while I was thinking about it, let's throw in a little bit of garlic powder while we're at it. If you want the real stuff, put that in. And now, Kevin's favorite, cream of mushroom soup. Okay, not every recipe I have calls for cream mushroom, but when you're doing a casserole or something, you can't go wrong. Maybe one day I'll get cream of chicken or cream of celery or one of the other ones, but this is what I got on hand. And it works just fine. So you're going to spread this out. Now if you really wanted to coat everything, what you could do is get a bowl and mix the hamburger, onions, and cream mushroom soup all together before you put it in the pan. I just didn't. It'll still work. Just something to think about if you really like it all smoothly coated. You might want to do it that way. We'll put that aside, and now our tater tot slash hash browns. So I'm going to do, they were separated in the pan. Well, I'm going to do the hash browns first and sprinkle them so they're nice and even. And I had enough of the hash browns where I'm not so sure I even had to go the tater tot route. I did, and it works. Sometimes you just use what you got on hand. It may not be according to the recipe, but it still works. So here goes our tater tots next. And there's not as much as the hash browns, so I tried to be a little more neat with spreading them around so that they ended up in every corner of the pan. That looks pretty good, I think. Now you could too, if you wanted, put the cream mushroom soup on top. I'm not sure that that would matter one way or another. I was kind of hoping to keep so they didn't get too soggy. I also had some sour cream left over in the fridge and I wanted to use it up. So hell, let's put it on here. There's about 1 cup I had. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough that we could use for this casserole, I figured. And once again, if you wanted to combine them all at the beginning, you could do that too. It's your casserole. It's however you want to make it, really. You can modify it to your own taste all the time. Almost any recipe you can. So we've got everything. Everything's pretty well assembled at this point. All right, this is looking good. I can't wait to get this in the oven. Last but not least, we're going to throw some cheese on it. Why not? Why? Because it's cheese. Why wouldn't you? I don't know exactly how much I put on, but I know roughly a handful and a half is about a cup. So I likely put about a cup and a half of cheese on there, maybe even a little more. I just wanted to make sure all the tater tots were covered. And now into the oven it goes. 400 for about a half an hour. You got to watch it. And here it is when it comes out. Oh, it smells so good. Yeah. Now it's time to eat. I hope you like this recipe and give it a try. Give me a thumbs up. That would be nice. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Leave me a comment below if you make this or even if you don't. And as always, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.